So today's topic is connect with reality. How many of you were there before some time? I discussed a topic called as design your reality. Very good. Okay, you were here. You were here. I didn't know I could have represented it. Not joking. So we did touch upon this topic of reality, but today we are going to completely see it from a completely different perspective. So even if you had attended that presentation, this is going to be from a fresh perspective. So I hope it would be of help. I would like to begin with some kind of reflection. Are you willing to do some reflection? We'll pose some questions and you can think about it and share what you think. Fine? We can hear more voices in the room. Of course, this is just for you to reflect upon. We'll come here eventually. So this is the basic premise of the presentation, that we are a spirit soul and we are meant to feel connected. It's our, the birthright. It's our right to feel connected fully, freely and forever. So that is the basic premise for the presentation. These are some of the questions. You can choose whichever question you would like to think about and share. So it's not one, we have 6. So you can choose one and whichever vibes with you, whichever you feel connected to, and what you would like to share with us. And we can build from there. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to get used to this. I'm extremely sorry. I've been looking at a screen and this thing is not reflecting here. If anyone wants to share, you feel free to. No question. Yeah.
The one that stuck out to me was, what are you holding on to that may not even be true? Something I've been sitting with is this idea that there will be a time when I'm so healed and so embodied that I will just never encounter a distortionate, triggering person again. And making that mean something about my evolution rather than seeing just the lesson in the mirror that person is meant to teach me at that time. And letting go of the kind of pedestal of my future self.
How does it help you?
I feel like it helps me release my inner critic. I realize it's just a version of my inner critic that is blaming myself for things that I experience rather than just experiencing them and being curious about it.
Thank you. Anybody else? You can choose any one, whichever you feel like you want to share or think about, share. Yeah.
So when do you feel most alive? When the things are happening the way I desire, then I feel more.
When things go as per our plan, yes, it is very, it's easy to be alive. Thank you. Anybody else?
I was going to do that. The fourth one is, what's one thing you deeply crave, not on the outside but inside? So I was thinking how there'd be times when I would feel lonely. So to answer that question, I guess I would crave to not feel lonely.
Is there a way of reframing it?
Yeah, I guess to feel like I'm not alone.
Thank you. it's very close to the topic today that we're trying to discuss. Anybody else? Yeah.
Lately I have to do a little bit of research and write reflections and whatnot for a seminary I'm doing. And one of the subjects that they asked for us to look at, one of them that caught my attention a lot was the 12 steps to spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And the question that says there, when do you feel most connected to life, to meaning, or to something greater? And one of the questions on the 12 steps of spirituality that somewhere down the line implicitly comes through is like, why do people go into like addictions, for example, let's call it that, and suffering deeply of certain traumas, but going back to addictions. And basically that question is pointing at the elements that are missing in us, and we tend to go that route just to self-soothe and hide it. So mystical experiences, connection with God, even when we sometimes don't want to use the word God, but that which is deep, that which brings us into a sense of fulfillment, the fulfillment that we cannot find in anything else. It's like in here kind of thing, just to say that. So that is very salient for me right now.
Yeah. When you're spiritually connected, you feel like there is more strong connection to the other community. Anybody else?
I also like that question as well. When you feel most connected to life, to meaning, or to something greater, I think that's when I'm in nature, especially when I'm in the ocean and the sun kisses the waves of the ocean, and I feel like I'm breathing in the light of the reflections, and I feel like a part of something, or even in the forest, and I feel like a part. And that's also really hard to do in the city with all the overstimulation and stuff. And so I find that I find the spirit in the trees and in nature and just connectivity there. And so that's where I think that it's so much important to remember I am also part of that, and that it's part of me. And so doing these inward practices, if I have to make the time to be in tune back into that, or else I'll go crazy.
Me too. Just saying.
I would agree with that. And it's very funny to think that civilization is to actually create societies away from, we consider that as primitive living when you just live in nature, without facilities. Civilization is to actually build facilities so that you can be comfortable. But when it gets to a point, again, you feel disconnected. And naturally, we feel more connected while we are in nature. But we also, on the other hand, think it is too primitive just to, we might think, it's, I don't know, what do you call it? We may say it's an Iron Age, or it's a Stone Age. So we may consider it as primitive than our current civilization. But at the same time, the same civilization makes us feel disconnected. So we want it, but we don't know how much we want it, or how far we have to take it. Anybody else? Yeah.
I feel like I could talk my mouth off on every single one of these. So I'll answer maybe the second one. When do I feel fully present and most alive? They're the same for me. Nature is what she said, but I want to add to that, even with humans, but it's when the essence of time disappears, which in New York City I find that hard, myself included, because there's always a movement of some sort activated. And even if I find when I show up fully present, but if the reciprocating person or people are in some ways distracted, as most people
they are not present,
then that in some way I can't hold my full presence at that. I think in nature, when you're with trees or water, it's not going, it's just very present with you. So you can reciprocate that energy. So I'd like to learn how to embody that energy full time.
That's why pretty much these days everyone likes to connect with this, because it doesn't say anything. It's readily available whenever you want. Yeah. So thank you all. As he said, yes, we'd like to share.
Yeah.
Now you got inspired.
Yeah. This may change in a couple of years, my answer might change, but I feel most alive when I allow myself to cry. It's very uncomfortable for me to cry. So I feel very alive when I can allow myself to cry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing honestly. Thank you. Yes.
I think at the top one, that's with fuel. So I think it's a very common for all of us. We have a lot of micro purpose in life, but then it's a confusion whether this micro purpose or the long term purpose or the purpose for why we exist are the same or they're different. And then down the line, after a long time, we might think that purpose we are thinking is not the right one. There's a different purpose, and there's a lot of confusion.
Yeah, we are sure we are longing to connect with something, but we are not sure like what we are like trying to. What is that connection? Thank you. There is a common denominator in all of these questions and the sharings that you all did. That we are all looking for some deeper connection. We are all looking for being alive and feeling connected in different ways. It could be in nature, it could be with people, it could be with our plants. But we are all looking for some kind of connection, and basically the title of the talk is also to connect with the reality. And there was this survey which was done that what is the, like I can ask you this question, like many people were asked, so what is your favorite way of relaxing? Yoga Nidra, okay. Can I put it as sleeping?
It's hard.
But yeah, it's kind of a more of goodness kind of a sleep. Yes.
Driving with music.
Okay, driving with music.
Swimming on the water.
Swimming in the water.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Eating my favorite meal.
Eating your favorite meal, favorite food, yes.
Feeling the space of my heart.
Mm-hmm. Feeling connect, like being
Just-
aware.
Just feeling.
Feeling.
That's all.
Breathing technique. Breathing. Okay. Mhm. So that's how you. When you really want to relax, like okay, there's nothing to do. You just want to, what do you call it? Like you just want to please yourself. Like what do you do? What are the different ways? Yeah, taking a shower. Yeah, shower, sleeping, food,
Eat a cookie.
cooking. Oh, that's
Chocolate
good.
chip.
These are really nice
May you always
answers.
rest.
Oh, and burning incense or
Mhm.
palasant or something.
Yeah, you said something wrong.
These are all really nice answers.
That's nice. So, anybody else?
Netflix.
Netflix.
I'm just gonna
Let's
ruin
get
it.
real.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like scrolling on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh, social media. Yeah, social media.
I'm gonna add to it, ruining it too.
So when this particular survey was done after post-pandemic, this was done by the Happiness School as part of the Harvard University. When they did this particular survey, what are people actually trying to do become happy, especially post-pandemic? Is there like a shift in the way that people are doing things? So the top four, So the top four is, the first one was vacation, because people were locked up so much, they just wanted to travel. So travel is one, like you said, driving, it's kind of part of the travel. And the other one was food, eating out, going out with family and friends for eating. And also I said travels, and the third one was sleeping. People really are tired, sometimes they just want to rest. And the fourth one is like either streaming or music, video or social media. So some kind of an digital or virtual entertainment. So basically entertainment in the form of that. So these were the four top ways. So what do you think is one commonality with all of these things?
it's a direct appeasal to the senses.
Mm-hmm. It's directly very pleasing, at least in the planning phase.
We're looking for a connection. We feel disconnected. Therefore, we try to go towards something that makes us feel like, this is good
You
enough.
feel connected. Is there any other commonality with, like, going out eating food with friends or family, or going on a vacation, sleeping, and scrolling on social media?
The forms of self-care, nourishment.
Self-care, nourishment. I feel so
Forgetting.
bad. The answer I give will be so pessimistic.
I was gonna say forgetting the reality, escaping the
Deepak.
reality.
We are thinking alike. Yeah, it's like, it's in one way escaping the reality. Life is sometimes so hard. The way of entertainment is like, I just want to escape this. And most of the times when you travel and come back, the problems might not have solved them by themselves. Sometimes it may, but some of the problems may not just go away. Going to sleep and waking up, they say in there is a Chinese proverb, if you want like a quick relief, then go to sleep for a few hours. You want to forget problems for a few hours, then just go to sleep. So sleep also doesn't most of the times fix the problem in the world external, if it's an external problem. And of course scrolling surely does not fix it. Most of the times we see that we have to urgently do. And I was preparing for this presentation last moment, to be very honest, and I had to tell myself, you are not going to look at any other notification in any of the gadgets. You only have an hour, everything, like whatever notification is coming, no, I'm not going to look at anything. I only have an hour to go with this. So it's not always very easy, because we are doing something and something else comes, and then we end up later realizing, oh my god, I just wasted an hour without any reason. So most of the times when we try to actually feel that life is like so overwhelming, and when we try to entertain ourselves or try to deal with it, we choose ways which are trying to escape from reality. But the topic here today is like, how are we going to actually connect with reality in such a way that it can be actually beneficial? And there was this one king, he was very well known for his valor, that he never lost a battle. So his name was Janaka, not the famous Janaka, the father of Sita, but he was also called Janaka. He never lost a battle, and that was his identity, that he's such a valorous king. And one day he went for, he went for hunting, and through that, when he was on the hunting trip, he realized that the enemy king has attacked his kingdom. So he had to rush back. But because he was so caught by surprise that he could not actually overpower the opposing enemy king, and he literally got defeated. And it was such a shock to him, because never that has happened in his life. So he was, and then he started begging for his life to that king, please don't kill me. He was about to kill him. He said, please don't kill me, which is generally considered very cowardly, to actually beg for life for a king kind of a personality. So, and then he says, okay, I can leave you alive, but one thing you have to do is you should never come back to this kingdom. Just take this horse and just leave forever. Never come back into this kingdom. So he sits on his horse and takes off and goes to a very deep forest. And there he's like very tired, hungry, heartbroken, completely shocked, in disbelief that he finally lost a battle. And more than that, he begged for life. Like he was so fearful of dying that he had to beg for his life. So he was feeling so lost, and he was also feeling very hungry. So there he found an old lady was living in a hut. So she begged some food from her, requested some food, and she said, okay, there are some ingredients here, if you want you can cook. So he starts cooking stuff, and when he is almost about to eat, a wild boar comes and attacks him and throws the food away, and then the food falls on the ground. Like after a long struggle, he has finally had something to eat and it's lost. And the wild boar was coming to attack him, and that's when he falls from his bed and wakes up and realizes this is all a dream. So he feels, oh, so I never actually lost a battle. I still have that identity, and I'm still the king of this country, and this was all a dream. And he was fully sweating, and he was so like it was a nightmare basically. He woke up and then he came to this realization, I just woke up from this reality which was so real that I'm sweating and I'm in so much anxiety and I feel so shaken. However, is this I'm feeling now, is this also like this? Like, is this also another dream inside a dream? So he pinches himself and understands, no, this is not the dream, but that was a dream. But he gets so confused, like, is life all dream? Is there any meaning to life at all? Like, is my identity like so like shifting constantly, and what is reality? So he had this question. So he announced in his kingdom that any scholar who can come and answer my question, that what is reality, I'll really offer you a lot of remuneration, a lot of gifts. Many scholars came and tried to answer, and he wasn't very satisfied. And finally, one saintly person came, and he was trying to explain to him about the different types of reality, and that's what we are going to discuss today. The three kinds of reality that the sage shared with the king. So, any guess? Oh, Krishna. Okay, for those who came late. Oh my God. Yes.
Waking. Is it like the state of reality or?
Just try, don't worry.
Like waking state?
Waking state, yes. Waking state, that's true. It's also a proper, like a scriptural distinction. That's true. It's a waking reality, yes.
Maybe your subconscious.
That if it is, yes?
No, just based on what he said, your subconscious reality.
Subconscious reality. Any immediate term, like a general term for subconscious reality? Yes, dreaming reality. So because that's a waking reality, there is dreaming reality. Then what else?
Deep sleep.
Deep sleep, okay. Any other guesses? Okay.
Meditation, like.
Yes.
Kind of that, like, yeah, when you. The feelings you get when you're in a deep meditation, whatever
yes,
that is.
that I've called it as spiritual reality. So the sage shares that there are three types of realities. One is the imaginary reality, the other one is the material reality, and the other is the spiritual reality. I will explain in detail what are they, but there is one easy way of understanding. So imaginary reality always drains us, whether it's a good dream or a bad dream. It has very little effect. Of course, I'm not speaking about the aspect where you dream about, you vision for life, and I'm not speaking about that kind of a dreaming. I'm just speaking about random dreams that we have, or any kind of imaginary thoughts and daydreams that we have. So it drains you, and material reality actually distracts us, and spiritual reality is something which nourishes us. This is one way of looking at it. There are more explanations. And what the king actually was shared with. Okay, imaginary reality drains you, material reality distracts you, and spiritual reality nourishes you. So out of these three realities, which one do you think is most important? Spiritual reality, okay.
Depends who you ask.
Who you ask? Okay, according to you, which one is the most important reality?
I would say all of them are well balanced.
All of them, yes, that's also true. Any other guesses? There's no wrong answer. I'm just trying to mess with you guys. Yes.
Material reality.
Material reality.
Because you have to live in that most of the time.
Yes. As all of you said, they're all right answers, as we said. Like from different perspectives, they're all valid. Spiritual reality because it is eternal, so in that perspective, it is right. And as Manohar said, like material reality because this is the reality in which we are constantly living. If we learn to actually deal with it, then we will be able to connect to the spiritual reality. Because today, if I want to connect with, then I need to be situated in the material reality properly so that I can connect with material reality. At the same time, as Ashutosh said, all the three realities, balancing them is also very important. The Gita says it's important to balance between them also. So it's not that one is important, one is less important, but where do we have more control? When you go to sleep, how many of you have control? What dreams you will have? Very, very, very difficult. We might remember some of our dreams. Some of our dreams we won't remember. So it's we have very little control over the imaginary reality, and spiritual reality we are trying to connect with. We are sometimes trying and sometimes struggling, and sometimes we feel connected, sometimes not. So the connection is not very stable with that reality. But there is one, for sure we are always in the material reality. So the more, in that perspective, it's very important. The more we learn to deal with it, we'll be able to connect with the spiritual reality. From that perspective, material reality is also very important. So that's the idea, that from the material reality we are trying to connect to the spiritual reality. So it's also very, very, that is why it is very important. So now let's discuss like what is imaginary reality that we are speaking about. So we are speaking about the thoughts, fears, fantasies, false narratives, dreams, in that sense of just dreaming, and that feel actually real but are not grounded in truth. Those things which actually drains us. So those kind of reality basically is the reality which is imaginary reality, because it's usually the stories that we tell ourselves and the imaginary assumptions we have about reality. And it's actually a Chinese proverb that it says like much of our suffering is from the imagination, not from reality. And in order to like think more about it, like how much of our stress comes from things that haven't actually happened. Yeah, you want to ask something?
Yeah, I do have a question, because I guess truth is a little bit of a blurry concept, isn't it?
Yes.
And you know, as we create our realities, depending on which programming is up there, depending on the day, I guess. I feel like sometimes what we imagine can also be brought into the reality. Like if we are telling ourselves some things, sometimes what we imagine can also become true, whether it's something we should wish for or not wish for. So I don't know, what's your thought on that?
Thank you. Like I surely, that's why I kind of dropped a sentence in between when I said about imaginary reality or dreams, that this is not the kind of the dreams that I'm saying like visioning or those kind of things, but in general, yes, like basically what we are saying is like dreams that connect us to the growth is different from the illusions that disconnect us from truth. So if our dreams are like trying to actually connect us with truth and taking us closer to truth, there is nothing wrong about them. But illusion and the dreams, they are two different things. Illusions are that actually disconnects us from truth. So we are here specifically speaking about that kind of, that category of imagination or reality, which is illusory. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So then how do you tell the difference between the true imaginative reality and the illusory one?
Again, before I shared one particular slide which said like the imaginary reality drains us and spiritual reality actually nourishes us. So that's also can be one easy way to understand. So because the stories that I'm having in my head, if it's draining me, I need to stand outside and think, is this actually helping me? If it's constantly draining me, I don't need to, because there are a lot of assumptions that we have, there is a lot of motivations we have, there is a lot of desires, aspirations, so many things are in our heart that we are not even clear about. So if they are all like crowding and making us like feel so tired, so then all we need to do is like step outside and gradually see, okay, what is the real story? Am I assuming something? What am I telling myself? Like, and sometimes it's important to hear what is our inner, what we are speaking to ourselves. It's coming from some need we are having. So if we meet that need, probably the story will change. So if anything is draining, we can always step outside and see, okay, what kind of reality I'm dealing with and why I'm feeling so drained. What is my expectation? Why is it not being fulfilled? Is it a good expectation or unnecessary expectation? Is the person I'm expecting from is the right person? They say right expectation from wrong people and wrong expectations from right people, both are very frustrating, very disappointing. So, did I answer your question? I'm happy that you are satisfied. So how we can think about this, like how much of our stress comes from things that haven't actually happened. There's so much we have, it's either people, it's things, it's our own situation, desires or the situations we came across, we carry them. I had to tell myself, okay, now I have to focus on this. I'm not going to worry about anything, think about anything, just focus on this. Otherwise, I can just waste my half a day just thinking about many things. I can lose my time. So it's very important that we actually know that what is the kind of reality we are connecting with. Because the more we connect on a daily basis, we dedicate our time to connecting with this kind of reality, it will drain us. It will leave us completely drained. So that is why it is important to know the kind of reality that we are trying to connect with. And the second kind of reality is the material reality, which is the real reality that we are all always dealing with. The tangible world of bodies, roles, responsibilities, achievements, and the ups and downs of life. They're all like the immediate reality. So then why do I call it material? If you don't know, in certain spiritual circles, material is almost like a bad word. Yeah, this is material, oh, this is spiritual, like that. But why are we just saying this particular reality that we are constantly living? Why we call it material? Is it not negative to call it material? Yeah.
I think it's like related to the senses, more like tangible.
Yeah, more tangible through the senses.
Denser.
That's very nice way to put it. Yeah, it's very tangible for the material senses. So it's a reality that I can relate with. Yeah, anything else?
We are souls in a body, physical body, material body.
Yes. So we are currently relating to this world through this material body. Okay. That's more deep than I was expecting. Coco?
I think it's the same answer. Like the spirituality, what we are experiencing now is through this material.
Through the material body. Yes. Okay. So, how much of our life is spent managing things that won't last within this reality? So that this question is the understanding, another understanding of what is material reality, because things that will not last the test of time is also called as material. That which actually changes over time, that which is lost over time, that is called as material. So then we can think, okay, how much of our life is spent managing things, manifesting things, attracting things, visualizing things that won't last actually. Because there is this famous concept of visualizing the law of attraction. So a lot of people know how to attract things, but hardly anybody is being trained what to attract actually. Because once you attract, then you have to live with it. So before learning how to attract, we need to know what to attract. So if you attract another imaginary reality or a material reality, then again you would have to deal with it. So it's important to know how to manifest things, but also we need to know what to manifest in life. Because what feels today great may feel eventually down the line like, why the hell, like I even desired for this, I don't want this anymore. So it's very important to know. So that's why it's important to understand that material reality means that reality which constantly changes. So, and what happens when the things actually we have built our life around, they eventually change or end. So then we suddenly feel completely lost. Have anybody have had that experience? Like something you felt this is the most important thing or person or aspect of my life, and suddenly it just changed. And it just tosses the whole life around. Like I surely have one experience like that. So I'm not saying that whatever changed was was not valuable. It was valuable, and that's why it affected me. But still, I didn't know at that point of time, oh, this is going to change. I thought this will never change. And then when things change, you feel like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. So material reality means that which is constantly changing. It could be the body, it could be the situations, it could be relationships, people, things, wealth, money, anything of this world that we cannot take along with us. They're all actually material. Even feelings, emotions, all of those things also constantly change. So this is the second level of reality. So material reality, if not properly dealt with, then it can distract us. It can constantly keep us distracted and make us feel, oh, this is so important, this is very extremely urgent, and then we realize, oh, that was not so much important after a while. So it just keeps us busy and distracts us, and it distracts us from connecting with spiritual reality, with which we are hankering to always connect with. So the Bhakti insight about the material reality is, Bhakti Yoga is not about rejecting the world. We are not speaking about that, okay, it's a material reality, who cares about it? No, we are not speaking about like rejecting the world or escaping into imagination. So we are speaking about living fully, handling the material reality responsibly, while being rooted in the eternal spiritual reality. Because I cannot just escape to spiritual reality. I'll feel hungry after a few hours. Then I would have to deal with that material reality, that I'm feeling hungry. So I cannot just think, oh, nothing will affect me. No, after a few hours I'm going to feel hungry. So it's better to understand that currently I'm in a material reality, yet being rooted in eternal, I need to handle the material reality. So the world is real. It may be temporary. It may be changing constantly, but it is real. You and me sitting here, it's not a dream, it is real. But it is temporary. After an hour, we may not be in the same situation. So time constantly pushes this material reality. It has to constantly change. You cannot stop time. So the world is real, but it's not ultimate. So we need to learn to deal with, engage with the world with detachment and devotion, with spiritual understanding. So that's the Bhakti insight for dealing with the material reality. And the third kind of reality is the spiritual reality. So what is spiritual reality? So it is an eternal reality. It's not just beyond, it can be accessed right here and right now. Yet it is beyond time and matter. That is why it feels very different when you access it. Have you ever had like a simple meditation and then you feel like completely different from it? Or even love, say for example, I regularly give this, recently I had this experience that I was coming from a program and it was late, so I didn't want to actually eat. I had to come back early because it was very late, so I wanted to get back. So then they packed me, the host did not want to go and let me go without some food. So they said, please have dinner. I said, it's already late at night and I also want to get back in time. So then they actually forced me and packed to-go box. And in their enthusiasm, 2 different people packed 2 to-go boxes. And then when I finally I had 2 bags in my hand. I'm like, one is also too much for me. What am I going to do with 2? But they said, no, it's getting late for you and the car is already here. Just go. So then I had 2 to-go boxes. I'm like, okay, let me see what happened, what to do with this. I thought I'll come put it in the fridge or something like that. And then I get to the station, and in the station, that as soon as I came in and I saw the train was getting like 15 minutes delayed, so I was just waiting there, and then I saw a person who was sitting there, a homeless person. So he was like, he had a board, I'm hungry and help me, like that. So I asked, I have some food, would you like to have? So he said yes. So, and I brought this to-go box out and I gave him, and he was like sitting and eating there. And initially he didn't look at me, he just was eating. So after a while I was just seeing, is he really still having it? Sometimes people also throw, so I was just thinking, what is he doing? So then he turned around and he waved the hand, and he waved and he was smiling. Initially he was very nervous, and then he was smiling and he was waving the hand. And I was thinking, even if I enjoyed both those to-go boxes, I would not have felt the same kind of satisfaction than actually sharing it with this person and seeing their happiness. So there is this, love is also, that feeling is, they experience the emotion of the soul, the original emotion of the soul is love. And when we experience that in a real way, also it is very touching and healing for the heart. If you want to feel at home, when you act with kindness and when the other person is touched by it, there is nothing more than that kind of an experience where you can feel at home, at heart. So these experiences, it is very possible right in this world to experience that. Even in interactions between us, if it is possible and if it is so touching, imagine if you could have it on a spiritual platform, on a much higher platform, with the divine, with God, like how much more nourishing it could be. Because we are all spirit souls, when we actually connect with kindness, with the original emotion of the soul, with the other soul, even here we feel so much nourishment and connection. What to speak of experiencing, how much more we will experience if we connect with God, because God is the supreme divine, He is the supreme spiritual reality, He is the eternal supreme reality, and we are also eternal spiritual reality. So when the soul connects with the divine, so then it's going to give so much more of a eternal experience, eternal emotions, eternal feelings. And that's where love, purpose and connection actually can transcend time and matter. Anything which is within the realm of time and matter does not satisfy us for a long time. And it's not permanent either, constantly changing. So if you really want to connect with spiritual reality, then you have to do something which can transcend time and matter while living in this world. While living within this world of matter influenced by time, you have to go beyond it and connect with something beyond time and matter. And it sounds so mystical, like how can I? Like how is it possible? Like I live within the time, matter, I'm within this realm of matter and time. How can I go beyond this and connect with something beyond? And that is why there are, the Bhakti Yoga is the process for that. So how we can connect with spiritual reality while living in the material reality? Of course, through personal spiritual practices like chanting and all the other spiritual practices like meditation. And we need to have supportive lifestyle and also like-minded association, like you're all here. So this is a space which actually facilitates you to have a conversation about these things and think about these subject matters. Like how many of us otherwise on our own would be thinking about these things? So to be in that kind of a spiritual community, in the like-minded association and spiritual association, and the supportive lifestyle to continue to be able to connect with spiritual reality. And then you have to do it. All the other three can actually show you the way, but you would have to do something personally. You would have to engage personally in some spiritual practice personally, invest your time. If you want to transcend time, then invest time in the proper things. So as long as we don't know how to deal with our time and use our time to connect with spiritual reality, we won't be able to transcend it. So transcending means we have to learn to invest it properly in spiritual reality. And that is why the soul finds peace and love not in escape, but in actual connection. So, but we don't want to just, like we spoke about those the top four things that people did but they were all escaping from reality. Yes, they are very important for balancing life, but it does not solve any of our problems. But here it's not just an escape, but in real connection. And not just connection on a superficial level, but with the divine on a spiritual level. And it does not mean, when I say divine, it does not mean you don't need to connect with other individual beings. Yes, but on a spiritual level. That's why we spoke about spiritual community and like-minded association. It's all important. So a simple question with which I'll end in a few minutes. Like this question can come to our mind, like how can I connect my material reality with spiritual reality? Because we spoke about them a lot. How do I connect? Then the simple is, material life is not to be rejected, but spiritualized through intention and connection. So refine your intentions, what you're doing, why you're doing, and connect. Use Bhakti Yoga as a practice to connect with the spiritual reality. Through your intention and connection with spiritual reality, you can actually make your material reality. You will be able to connect with spiritual reality even while living in this world. Again, we are spirit souls and we are meant to feel connected. We deserve to feel connected. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah, add these. And the soul finds peace not in escape but in connection with the divine. And how can I connect with the divine? So again, the final thing is the same thing with which we started the presentation, that we are a spirit soul and we deserve to feel connected fully, freely and forever. And that's only possible something which is beyond time and matter, because you cannot forever connect with something which is temporary. So that connection, that if you fully want to feel connected, then you need to connect with the spiritual reality. And the simple way to understand is, imaginary reality drains you, material reality distracts you, and spiritual reality nourishes you. So yes, some of the material reality can also nourish us, proper lifestyle, going into the nature, reading, and all these things. But still, beyond that, if you want personal connection, if we are all looking for not just abstract energy, we are all looking for personal connection. So that is possible through spiritual reality, and that means connecting with the divine, connecting with the Supreme Lord through the Bhakti Yoga practices. It's very easy through the practices of chanting Hare Krishna, simple kirtans. So, and to facilitate your connection, so we do have many programs here, and so this is one reflection that you could take home, that what daily practice that you can do in order to connect with the spiritual reality. Of course, here at the Bhakti Center, we do have these programs to help you facilitate your connection with the spiritual reality, be it the Tuesday night Kirtan or the courses, the Intro to Bhakti or the Beginning Bhakti, which is all regularly, there are new courses coming up constantly every month. So you can check on our website, and also, I'm sorry,
Next year's Flower Festival.
Sorry, that was not okay. I'm sorry. So, and also of course Soul Talks, you're already here. There is more programs at the Bhakti Center. You can check online, connect with Damodar, Manohar and Damodar. And Manohar does have some such sanghas that he has on Thursdays, where he connects with people on a more personal way. So if you're interested in more details, personal connection, for sure, Manohar is here to facilitate that very much. And yeah, there are more WhatsApp updates or feedback form for this class. If you didn't like the lecture, please let us know. And volunteers sign up. You always need help. So if you have some energy that you could volunteer with us for helping run this program in specific, or in general any other skills that you have, if you have any professional things that could actually help us run this place in a better way or maintain this place in a better way, we'll always be very happy to have your support, be it data CRM or maintaining data, managing various services. There are so many things, from helping in the kitchen to helping with the production of this program, to making garlands. If you work with flowers and colors, we have that opportunities, artistic side if you have, or from reception to so many other things we have, from volunteering to teach to so many opportunities are there. So if you have time, please, you can always help us run the place better. So thank you, and extremely grateful for your time and presence, which is always more worthy than anything else in this world. So that's the biggest real estate, to get your attention. So you happily came and gave your attention. So thank you very much for that. Thank you everyone.